Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's Friday. That means it's time for the Rex and the Robbie Show. I'm Robbie. This is Rex. How you doing, my man?
What's up, bud? I don't know. And my internet seems a little sketchy, so I'm warning you in advance. Comcast may be coming for me.
Oh, your internet's being sketchy? You wouldn't say, Rex.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
you're
so odd.
fine to
I
me
know.
right now, but now that we've mentioned it, we'll see what happens, right?
I figure I get ahead of the game. Jump in front of the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate everybody being here. We got a great topic today, but before we get into that, and we will be talking about something we've been talking about for weeks is, are we tired of sequels? Are
Yep.
we tired of franchises? Do we have franchise fatigue? Is it superhero fatigue? Is it bad movie fatigue? We'll unpack this today because recently Oppenheimer has just leapfrogged Guardians 3 to be the number one three highest grossing film of the year so far. I don't think this list is going to change. Barbie, Mario, Oppenheimer, all three of these movies, the first time in 20 years that one of the top three is not dominated by a sequel or some kind of like continuation of a franchise or a comic book movie. So that's something we're going to unpack. However, Rex, do you feel better now that the NFL is underway and we started with a really crazy game?
I got to tell you, last night, look, Patrick Mahomes played lights out. Okay, he did what we knew he was going to do, but the drop passes, dude, I can't even. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, the one pick six. That was right on the button. It was right on the money, man. It just went through his hands, deflected it. The other guy, the defender, was right there. I mean, come on, man. You got to catch the ball, guys. I know everybody's like, Kelsey's out. And yeah, well, Kelsey's nothing against Jason Kelsey, or not Jason Kelsey, but Travis Kelsey. He's not a young guy. Okay, he's going to get hurt. I mean, it's young guys get hurt. It's a violent game. So you expect Kelsey to stay healthy and not miss a game all season at his age? And with the amount of receptions he has and the amount of targets he has, that's not realistic. You might as well wish for his suitcases full of cash to fall from the sky. It's not possible. So these are the guys. I mean, I saw a stat this morning which was frightening. Like all the receivers except for like one were in negative percentages in terms of receptions for the game last night. You cannot drop the ball that many times, man.
Yeah.
I mean, third and long, and he had it right there. The one where they almost took Mahomes down and still gets it off, and a guy drops it. They didn't do this last season. They make those catches. They get that first, or at least push it to third and short, or at least fourth and short. But man, that was ugly. Feel bad for him, but it's only first game.
Last night I was doing a stream with our homie Verno down there from Blood Splatter Chatter. We were talking about Sisters. Which is actually a really cool Brian De Palma film. That's
right. You had not seen this before.
Yeah, I'd never seen it, and it led to a really great discussion. But as soon as that stream ended, I like put on the game, and it was like the last 4 minutes, and I was just like, "What happened?"
Dude, oh my gosh, it was first half went about as expected, and then the pick six, and they tied it up, and then you're like, all right, well, it's still the Chiefs, it's all right. There was still this expectation they would win. They would pull it out. And it just did not happen. And all those drop passes, I mean, you're going to read about it all week, no doubt.
What about how all the Lions fans are upset with the commentator? I can't remember his name, the guy on NBC, the main guy, but he's like said something like it's a win with an asterisk for the Lions, and he's getting a lot of flack for that. Have you heard about that?
I have not, but I mean, I'm looking on social media and stuff, and all these Lions fans. Oh, this is it. This is it. This is the year we're going. With Goff, we're going. Guys, you won one game, albeit against a very good opponent. Okay, you won one game, guys. Come on, man. Relax. Everybody, step back. You are still the Detroit Lions. Okay, you could not with Barry Sanders, who, by everyone's admission, no one could tackle. You couldn't get anywhere close. Relax. Everybody step back. Game one of the season. Okay?
Yeah, you can't go too far, on the first game. But, I'm happy for Lions fans because, they've been kind of – yeah, I'm very happy for Lions fans. So but, I hope that actually continues because I want storylines in the NFL that are not retreads. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see the same thing all the time. The Cowboys do really well and then shit the bed at the end of the season. Like, I don't want to see this narrative.
You guys got your own problems. But, I mean, I feel like what the Rams did to Goff was wrong. So I would like to see him have that success down in Detroit. Okay, if he could be that guy, okay, to finally break that whatever you want to call it, that bad luck, that whatever, the Red Sox curse, whatever you want to call it, and can be that guy, then I feel like he's been vindicated. Okay, yeah. The Rams just we're just churning through people, win now, and he became a victim of that. So I feel badly for him. That I feel like the Rams didn't treat him right. But caveat though, Lions fans, chill out. You won one game, guys. Okay, it's a long season. Chill. Okay.
One of my favorite things is, we always overreact after every week of the NFL, but in particular in the early days. And I saw a meme today, and it was like Patrick Mahomes, number 1 in interceptions, number 1 in lost yards, never beat Goff. It's just all these stats with the idea being only one game's been played, nobody else has played. So still a long season to go.
It's the way people are. I mean, dude, they're already somebody has actually gone to the trouble of making cartoons and posting them on social media of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the Lions coach is eating a cheeseburger and Andy Reid standing there with an empty plate. I mean, it's guys, come on, man. So the game was last night. Somebody went to the trouble of making this animated poster or meme or whatever. I'm just wow, guys.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a long season. I am excited to see what's going to happen with Dallas Cowboys. You have 3 quarterbacks, and you are going to have controversy. And now Dak is, he's up against the wall, man. How many games? My bet is this: how many games into the season, if he falters and struggles, do they start calling for Cooper, or they start calling for Trey?
Trey, yeah.
It's just like Jerry Jones deliberately puts everybody in this position.
Well, so, I mean, I think at this point we honestly can't depend on the idea that Dak's going to play every game, just because that's historically not been what's happening for us, right? He seems to get hurt pretty often and misses significant portions of the season. So having those extra quarterbacks might be, I mean, I'm not, me, I'm a Cowboys fan. I got them Cowboys colored glasses on. By the way, if you want more football talk, join me Sunday night, Rockin Robbie Live, 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll be live watching the Cowboys-Giants game to kick off Sunday Night Football. It's going to be fun.
I will be watching. I will probably tune you in because I will definitely be watching that game.
I appreciate that. Rex is the one time I watch your show is to hopefully watch you miserate while the Cowboys lose.
I got to tell you, it's like a bonus. I feel like a bonus football night for me. But here's my question. I got to ask you honestly, though. I think the team to watch in New York this year is the Jets, not the Giants.
Well, all eyes will be on the Jets Monday night for sure, right? I got to stream Monday night. Monday night's like a doubleheader for me, of course, with the show over the EXP and then PCP movie night. This week we're doing Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. But yeah, that's going to be a Monday Night Football that everybody's going to be paying attention to because it's not just the Jets, the new look Jets.
Yeah,
the Bills too, and the Bills, it always seems like it's their time. You know what I'm saying? And then
oh my God, the Bills, another tragedy from the Jim Kelly days. Oh my gosh, that's talk about another team with a curse, the Red Sox curse, if you will. But excited. Yep. I'm very excited that the season started. Yes.
And then Team USA in basketball got beat again in the World Cup by Germany, so that's exciting. Beat by Germany and Lithuania.
I think that there's parity now. And I don't think that's a bad thing for basketball. The international teams are getting better. And that means that more kids are coming up playing. That's a good thing. I mean, come on, the original Dream Team. I mean, dude, that's like hunting a mouse with an elephant gun.
I mean, bro, that's ridiculous. Like the greatest sports team ever assembled, man. Yeah, to go up against college players, basically.
Dude, but you know what it reminded me of that Olympics? It reminded me of the Harlem Globetrotters when they played the Washington Generals. Okay, every other country in their team was like a joke at that point in time.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing, that there's parity. Okay, and albeit you do not have the NBA's biggest stars, and now other countries have guys that play in the NBA on their national team. That's a good thing, I think.
You know,
Unless
I'll
they're
tell you
really bad.
this. This is an example of absolute perfection in marketing. When we started talking about the Dream Team, I immediately started tasting McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and French fries, bro. Like
They
immediately, bro.
got you, boy.
From a
They got
plastic
you.
cup. From a plastic cup. You know what I'm saying, man? Oh,
They
you just
got
took
you,
me
buddy.
back, dude. You took me back. All right, let's talk about the topic of the day. Oppenheimer has leapfrogged Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, making it the third highest grossing film internationally of the year so far at like 800 million something. Mario at number 2 with like 1.2 something, and then Barbie right above that with 1.2 something billion or 1.3 something, right? Barbie, Mario, Oppenheimer. We've been talking about this. Some people are saying we are having franchise fatigue, which is funny because 2 of these 3 movies are definitely going to be the starts of franchises, hopefully for the studios, right? People are saying they're tired of the big franchise, the big IP. 2 of these 3 are big property, big IP. 3 of the 3, if you actually count the idea that Christopher Nolan is a brand in and of himself, right? So there's a lot going on, right? However, for the first time, at least right now as it stands, and Rex, you probably agree with me, I don't think these numbers are going to change. I don't think the Marvels is going to hit and dominate the year or something like that.
No, not even close.
These, for the first time in 20 years, the top 3 is not containing a sequel, a franchise continuation, or a comic book movie. What does this mean to you? Does it mean we're tired of sequels? Does it mean we're tired of franchises? Does it mean we're tired of bad movies? Does it mean we want something different, something fresh, even if it's dressed up in something nostalgic? I don't know. What do you think, Rex? You out
My
there in the
answer
chat.
would be yes.
Is it time for me to come in?
Sure. Raul, what's
Hi,
up,
Amy.
buddy? Thanks for
Hi,
joining us.
Robbie. How are you?
I'm great.
But I want to respond to Raul. The reason we don't talk about cricket is I don't understand anything about that game at all. So we would just sound really, really stupid, like when we talk about everything else.
I'll try to get into it for you, Raul, if Rex will, because I mean we can try.
If you can find the channel, I don't even know where to watch it, to be honest with you. All right, so I will say yes to everything you just said. I think that we have talked about this for weeks and months in one way or another. And the Mario Brothers, I'm going to say not a sequel, but it's also not something totally brand new.
Mm-hmm.
They've tried it again and again. So maybe this time
it's based on a very popular video game.
Right, but maybe this
that
time
spans generations.
Everybody went out because they finally said they finally wanted to see them do it right. Okay. So I'll leave that kind of to the side a little bit. But when you talk about Barbie and Oppenheimer, does this not scream a resounding yes? We are tired of sequels. We are tired of remakes. We are tired. And I don't know how else they can be any more clear, the audience. You bring us something new. We want to see something new. We want to see something creative. We want to see something that we haven't seen before. And that's what's been missing. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I didn't think Flash was awful. But how is it different from every other movie that's come out? It's not. Superhero, villain, multiverse, time change. Okay. All right. So I saw that. Flash, Shazam. No, not really, but still good guy, bad guy. Black Adam. Okay. All right. Again, traveling through time kind of thing. Or I'm immortal. Doctor Strange, Ant-Man. It's done. You've done it. Okay, we get it. It's a multiverse. We get it. It's time travel. We get it. I think even Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I really enjoyed as well, I think the problem is not even James Gunn can save it because it is yet another sequel. So I think it was nice that it was a nice close up to everything. But at the end of the day, how is it any different? Is it funnier? Yeah. Is the script better? Yeah. Is the cast better? Yeah.
Well, it did do significantly better than Shazam 2 or Ant-Man or some of those films for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Shazam, well, let's call it what it is. The Rock killed Shazam. And then they didn't help themselves because the storyline wasn't really that different. I kind of feel like when Billy Batson seems when he's Billy Batson, he's not Captain Marvel, and he seems more mature as a kid. And there's kind of a disconnect. It was cute the first time around, but the second time around, what did you really change? You didn't really change much. You tried to throw some star power at it. Okay, let me do that. Which is the same thing they did in Flash with Michael Keaton. So I think the audience is telling the studios, we're tired of it. Give us something new. Give us something original. Don't give us a rehash, same old idea.
Yeah.
Blade worked because it was a new idea at the time. Now we need another new idea of that time, of this time, and maybe Barbie is it. I think Oppenheimer is probably clearly it's a one-shot kind of thing. And more
like Robbie said earlier, Christopher Nolan is so much his own brand that people like, oh, Christopher Nolan's directing? Hell yeah, sign me up. Like,
yeah, but that's not going to get you to the kind of money they got, okay? Because there's a lot of people, like, I won't go see a movie because it's a particular director. I haven't done that since maybe since like the early days with something like Godfather or something like that, where they had that kind of pull. Now, not really. Okay, I'm not going to go see a movie because it's Christopher Nolan.
Well, I will say if there is a director who has that pull, it might be Christopher Nolan alone.
Yeah,
right now.
No, I don't disagree with his pull, and there's a segment of the audience that are pulled by the fact that it's him, that it's Nolan. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to achieve these numbers on that alone. Okay, so in other words, it's gotten the popularity because maybe you're going to see it because it's Nolan. Maybe somebody else is going to see it because they're a history buff. Maybe somebody just is going because I want to see something different. Okay, I don't want to see another superhero sequel with a multiverse with Easter eggs and all this and that, and worry about the next movie, and then that's not coming out for 3 years. I want to watch something and be entertained. Okay, so whatever caused these people to go and watch it, they liked it. They liked it. They enjoyed it. They told their friends this was a great movie. So other people went. So really, what I'm saying is, for it to reach this kind of level of success, it needed to be a good movie. And I think that it was a good movie. It was an original concept. It was a part of history. All of a sudden, that was actually a kind of a good thing to say. We are all so trapped in the multiverse and the intergalactic this and that, and then Marvel trying to pull us away from reality as much as they can, DC as well. Then all of a sudden people said, I want to go see a movie about reality, about a piece of history. Okay? Because if we continually escape reality with the Marvel and DCU, the purpose of history is to learn from your mistakes. And if all we do is bury ourselves in these worlds that don't actually exist, maybe this is the problem. Maybe people are finally saying, I want to see something. So I think Oppenheimer is one shot. I think Barbie took something that was familiar. So it took that what they're trying to do with the sequels and the remakes, they're trying to grab that nostalgia and then turn it into something that you want to see. And I think they accomplished that with Barbie, and they haven't done it with the DCU, with the MCU, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
They haven't really done it.
One thing that these movies have done, all three actually, that a Marvel or DC movie hasn't done in a very long time is gain traction as the weeks progress. Where there were plenty of people who were like, oh, I don't know about that Barbie movie, right? And it had the big splash, and so did Oppenheimer with the Barbenheimer effect and all that. Mm-hmm. Even Mario, when it came out, it had a splash. But then it just kept consistently building more and more of an audience. Amy, what do you think? First time in 20 years, top 3 movies of the year, not dominated by sequels or a comic book movie. What's this mean?
I think both of you guys are right on a lot of stuff. Like yes, people do want to see something new, but also, Robbie, you're the one to point out, again, they're all have something connected to it that makes people do want to say, again, Mario's based on the most popular game in the world. Barbie's the most famous doll in the world. And again, Christopher Nolan. So there's still, even if it's something's new, something's attached to it that will bring people in, whether it's nostalgia or a director. but the fact that like they're still, again, they're not sequels. They're still, for the most part, just one shot movies. Like it is refreshing to see, and I understand again what Rex is saying. Like maybe we do need a break, but like I still like to think that there's room for all these types of movies, whether it's original or based off a franchise. Because people will still see them anyway. They'll still see the Marvel and the DC and Fast and the Furious. Like people, because like there's still comfort movies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes people don't like.
I would, yeah. I give you another example. Okay, so Jay Burns.
Mhm.
I hear what you're saying, right? But here's the thing.
And Jay makes me think again. Everyone's different. If they want to see something different, they'll go see something different. They want to see something familiar,
you're going to get some misses, Jay. That's the thing. It just because it's new doesn't make it good. But how do you know if you never try anything new? So I guess another example really is look at how popular Squid Games became. All right, now to me that's interesting because there's a whole segment of the population that hates subtitles. They just cannot stand it. They don't like the movie experience that way, right? And then a series.
I'm not one of those people. I will happily watch.
No, I know that, but a lot of people don't, right? So there's like I have friends who say I won't watch a period piece, so they've never seen Braveheart. Okay, they're not into period pieces, right? Whatever, to each his own. But my point is when something that subtitle gets that popular, because Squid Games was a new concept, it was a new idea. It was weird, but it was a new idea. That says something to me. I mean, if you're at a point where, okay, Trade Paper Dad, I would agree with you. With what you're saying. But, it isn't something new, but it is something that's worldwide recognizable, yes. And it's generational as well. And that's the nostalgia effect.
Or maybe, the thing is, though, the fact that it is recognizable, and I understand that, like, the appeal of nostalgia, the appeal of the familiar brand, right? For the studios and for us as the audience. But they did something new with the popular brand of Barbie. They did something very authentic with the popular brand of Super Mario Brothers. They did something very technically revolutionary and masterful with the story of Oppenheimer, right? None of these three movies are an original concept, like meaning that like Chris Nolan woke up and had this idea about a guy who creates a bomb. No, it's based on something real. Mm-hmm. Barbie is based on a popular franchise. Mario is based on one of, like, you're right, the most popular game in the world.
Yeah, but isn't every movie?
Not every movie. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, though, for instance, was like an original concept and idea. But one thing I like, though, is you take something like Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That was a big success for A24. Came out of nowhere. Made a lot of got a lot of critical praise, got a lot of commercial success, right? Really boosted up A24, right? That's an original idea. Now imagine something like that story, that concept, that level of innovation and craft applied to something familiar. Maybe that's the secret right now is, let's take Barbie because we already got Barbie heads. They're going to watch this movie, but let's actually do something with that and actually make a rather profound movie that's doing something different.
And they did.
So what 62 Lefty said, that is a very good point right there. All right, because that's what we've talked about as well. Okay, you have the creative arguing with the suits, and the suits want guaranteed money, and that's where you go wrong. And this has been the struggle all along. So, but I agree with what you're saying, but I disagree to a certain extent. Every concept in a movie is an idea taken from something else. All right. But how you take that and present it, I think, is the point. And that's what they haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They haven't done what made Blade unique. They haven't done what made Squid Games unique, or Barbie, or Oppenheimer. They haven't done anything, to make it unique in and of itself. They just took the same idea and they rehashed it. They changed some characters. They changed the special effects. But it's essentially the same story, the same formula, okay, that we've seen time and time again. And that doesn't work. And one, before all this happened, before the whole concept of MCU fatigue, Fantastic Four, the first movie, that proved it. because what they did was they tried to cookie cut it right out of Spider-Man. So Doom wasn't Doom anymore. He became kind of a carbon copy of the Goblin in Spider-Man. Okay, the similarities are beyond even the color, but the similarities are unreal. So that movie failed in a time when MCU, it seemed like anything they touched turned to gold. But that one failed. Why? Because you tried to cookie cutter it out, and it's not enough. And you in Fantastic Four, I mean, come on, there's more than enough people waiting. We're still waiting for a good one. But whenever you try to do that, and I think that's been the failure, and that's why Barbie is so successful, even though it's an old idea, but so was Star Wars. One of the things they said about Lucas was when he came up with Star Wars universe, he just stole cultural items from other places and stuck them in there. Okay, the Jedi are what? They're samurai, right? So the whole concept of an emperor and fighting the emperor, that's kind of a fantasy take to it, isn't it? So all ideas like this, but how are you going to present it? Because Lucas presented it to us in a way we've never seen before, and he told a story that we never saw before. That's why we loved it. That's why it endures now. And why have the sequels failed? Because they tried to cookie cutter that out. Same thing. All right. And when things get tough, add more lightsabers. That always works. So maybe it's eventually every idea becomes tired.
So I'm looking at Taki's comment. Has Marvel had a box office failure? But here's the thing. And this is something we've been talking about too. Box office failure. What does that mean? We could easily say, it means whether or not it makes its money back. Well, it needs to make more than its money back. Usually they want double what they spent back to be successful as far as financially. However, there's expectation on these movies, right? So I don't think technically a Marvel film has lost money, right? I think that they came very close with Eternals, because that movie cost like 200-something thousand to make. They made like 400,000 on it, but like their expectation and the wave of Marvel doing this and then kind of doing this post Endgame, that's concerning for them. And that does, like, they would consider, for instance, Thor: Love and Thunder made money, made plenty of money. Doctor Strange 2 made plenty of money. Go ask people on the street about those two movies. Most people do not think of those movies very strongly, which leads to them less likely to go see Ant-Man or the next Marvel movie that's coming out, maybe the Marvels, something like that. Like Captain Marvel made $1 billion, but people's response to that film afterwards. So yeah, technically box office, I don't think Marvel's had a failure yet with Marvel Studios. Even Ant-Man made its money back and more, but who's going to go see another Ant-Man movie now? That to them is kind of a failure because it didn't continue that rise that they wanted. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I'll tell you honestly, who knows? Okay, because they considered the first Shazam a success. Okay, and it made less money than Black Adam, obviously. But Black Adam was a failure. But we talked about how the measurement has to change, because there's this opaque kind of thing where we don't really know
what's considered a success and what's
correct. And every streaming company says they're losing money. Then why are you doing this? But now all of a sudden it becomes crystal clear why the studios want it that way. They don't want us to know the number. Okay? They don't ever want us to really know the number, because then they can't make up the number. So what you're hearing about success or failure, okay, in terms of dollars and cents, is coming from the studios. And why wouldn't they want you to know the numbers? We know now exactly why, as the writers in the actor strike is going on right now, because they don't want to pay residuals. And if you know what that number is, they figure somebody's going to come asking for a piece of it. Isn't that weird? All these years. So they'll just call it whatever they want. They don't really want us to know. So we are not, as an audience, in a position, in my opinion, to judge whether it's a financial success or a financial failure. We don't get to see the numbers. What we do get to judge is whether it was a good movie or a bad movie. That's within our realm. And sooner or later, the big studios, they have to deal with that. Just like they have to deal with the writers and the actors. Sooner or later, they can kick that can down the road as long as they can. Okay, but now they're starting to panic. Last quarter they're at shareholder meetings telling everybody how much they saved because of the strike. Now they're talking about how much you're going to lose. Which is it? Okay, that was less than 3 months ago. Last quarter. Okay.
Yeah, well, less than 3 months ago, they thought they had Dune 2 to rely on. They thought they had Craven to rely on. They thought they had this to rely on. They thought they had Deadpool 3 coming up on the horizon. Like, all that stuff has been up in the air now.
Those movies are on pause right now.
It's weird. It was one game, brother.
A lot of movies are on pause right now. So now we don't know when they're going to come out. We don't know when this strike's going to end. And very few
Happy
studios are in production right now. Only the studios that took the deal are in production right now, and it's not a lot.
Yeah. So in a real sense, I don't even think about that. Okay. Is it a financial success? Is it not a financial success? Execs are making $80,000 a day. Okay. So I got to figure that as an entity as a whole, they're doing okay. Right. So at that point, it's not something we're ever really going to know. But who cares, right? At the end of the day, who really cares? Okay, as an audience member, as a fan, why do you even care? It has no bearing on you. But you do want to see good movies. You want to see stuff come out that you enjoy, that you want to watch, that's engaging, like a Barbie, like an Oppenheimer. Will they make an immediate change? No. Right now, as we talked about this, the Polly Pocket, they're looking at every IP, and we just got to turn it into a movie, and people will come out and watch it. No, they won't. But you guys do your thing, okay? Because to the suits, it's just a spreadsheet, okay? Yeah. Well, if it worked for Barbie, what's the second best, most popular doll in American history? Let's make a movie, right? And we're going to see a bunch of those come out. Some will never get released. Some will get shelved, okay?
So you've alluded to this a little bit about like what happens next. Like this. Okay, so we got this. We can celebrate it for a moment and be like, oh, it's cool. It seems like cinema's back. We've been talking about this ever since the Barbenheimer thing happened, right? Mm-hmm. However, what does this actually lead to? Here's Rockin Robbie's perfect world. Okay, what happens is it leaves people craving true cinema, original content, original ideas, interesting stories told in interesting ways, whether they're connected to IP like Barbie and Mario or very top-notch creative talent like Christopher Nolan, who is an IP in and of himself, right? Okay, but let's say that now there's going to be kind of a very thin spread of these movies coming out because of the writer's strike, because of the actor's strike, right? So the big studio movies aren't going to have so much to offer in the next few months if they don't end this strike. Then, like Amy said, some studios like A24 and independent films, right, are not part of this. So independent films are still being made. A24 is still in production. They're also making waves right now with that movie, what was it, Talk to Me or something like that? I haven't seen it yet. I think that's what it's called.
And I've heard good things.
I've heard great things about that. But here's the thing. So what if people craving that Oppenheimer Barbie experience again, they look at the theater, they're like, nothing's coming out. There's no superhero movies. There's no Dune 2. There's none of this. Oh, what's this interesting movie? Let me look this up online. Oh, I hear something. Maybe people will start. I'm not saying they're going to go back to the theaters in droves to watch these kind of original ideas and these original movies not based on IPs. However, in my perfect world, it is setting up perfectly the opportunity for some of these studios like A24, like some of the independent films, to gain some traction in the absence of the big studios. What do y'all think? Amy in particular, because I know she's an A24 fan.
I want to respond to Trade Paper Dad, though. I agree with you, Trade Paper Dad. Elemental is a perfect proof of that, but I don't think we're ever going to get a real metric because the studios don't want us to know. When you say about financial success
post, it's very different.
Yeah, but the studios don't want us to know.
We can't call someone a failure if it doesn't make $1 billion. We can't. We got to stop doing that.
Yeah, but the studios don't really want us to know what that number is. Because then they can't control the narrative.
And then someone else said cancel culture might also be a part of it, and I kind of might agree a little bit.
I vehemently disagree because
a lot of movies that were made in the past that would be hard to make today. Producers are
Well, maybe the idea that people are like
some
too
of
scared to
that is
push.
true, I think.
Maybe like the idea that some people, especially when it comes to maybe comedies or horror films, maybe afraid to push the boundary too far. Right? I don't know.
Now, you know what? I'm sorry because I find that to be cop out because you've had movies that have been influenced by what is socially happening in the world. I remember one movie very early on. Okay, so
Jay, that's true. They couldn't make Blazing Saddles today. I don't think they could either. So, I genuinely think that.
So, I don't know, History of the World Part 2. But here's my point: is that there was a Soviet movie called the Potemkin that was made long time ago. Okay, it was a propaganda film. Okay, that was punched out by the Soviets, I believe. Okay, and showed how the Russian Navy. I remember there was a scene with maggots on the meat. You know, it was a black and white silent film. I believe it was silent. It reflected what the Soviets wanted to reflect at the time, and their portion of history. Are there movies that were made in the past that would not be politically correct today, as what people say, or cancel culture, or whatever? Sure.
Okay, yeah, that's part of it, not the entire reason, just part of it.
But that's true in every cycle of human history. Okay. That's there was a time when the Vietnam War was looked upon as the most horrible thing. Soldiers were coming home and people were spitting on them, calling them baby killers. Okay, these things happen. Okay, so society changes or evolves, and then the movies reflect it. Let's never forget, movies are a reflection of us, of what's happening. Even if the story doesn't deal with reality, it's a reflection of what we believe at that time, at that place. So it's a little slice of our history at that time, and movies reflect that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what I'm saying is that we keep looking at all these reasons of why. The reasons of why, I believe, it's simpler than that, and I believe studios have been doing this for a very long time. Nothing has really changed. Back at the early period of motion pictures, the studios own the actors. They own the talent. You signed multi-year contracts, multi-year movies. You could not move on no matter what. They were ironclad. You were more or less an indentured servant of the studio. All right? So you made the movies they wanted you to make. You did the things they wanted you to do. Okay, Gene Kelly. Okay, they want to see you dance. You're a dancer. You dance. Fred Astaire, you're a dancer too. Okay, you dance. That was controlled by the studios. Now they control in a different form. We got to make money. We got to make money. This worked. It should work the next 100 times that we do it. All we got to do is flip-flop the formula.
I don't think I've ever agreed with you this much on a topic. This is new.
Ironically, I'm a cinema buff, if you will. Okay, from the silent era to the first talkies or whatever. So you see this. Okay, independent filmmakers, they always struggle. Even back in the as far back as my memory goes, in the 70s. They were never the top 10 movies in variety because they didn't have the budget. It was so expensive to shoot a film. So the advantage of technology, and Blair Witch Project, I think, kind of showed us this, is that it's getting cheaper and cheaper to shoot a film. Okay, if you don't have a lot of special effects, right? Just to shoot a straight up film. It's easier to market your film. You don't have to depend on the big studios. It's kind of like self-publishing in books. All right, but now you have the studios throwing massive money at stuff, like Ant-Man, like Doctor Strange, like Shazam, Black Adam, that it's even harder for you to get the word out. Even though it's easier to do it with and less cost, they're just drowning everything out. So it's harder to see. So really, what I see is nothing has really changed. Things have changed in terms of technology, but it's almost as if it's like people. Have people
there's
really changed that much?
Rex, there's the potential, though, with less studio movies coming out, for these movies to kind of have their opportunity to be put more in the spotlight again coming up, I think.
Maybe.
I think
but how long do we think there are going to be less movies coming out of the studios?
I don't know. This strike's gone on longer than I thought it would, to be honest with you.
Look, somebody's going to – eventually it's going to get settled. Both sides can't afford for it to go on too much longer, okay? From the actors, writers' side, okay, if you let this drag on too much longer, eventually the studios will look into options like AI and everything else. Will it fail? I think it will. But you after a certain point, one suit is going to say, hey, let's do that GPT thing. And let's write scripts that way. Okay. eventually you're going to force their hand. The studios, you can't have this go on any longer because the money's not coming in now. Okay, and eventually the money's going to start reversing out.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get this settled so you can get some money back in the coffers. So eventually everybody's going to settle. What's the deal going to be? Who knows? All right, but eventually it's going to happen. So we know that's going to happen, which means that the log jam is going to break, and then all these movies are going to start coming out again. So I don't believe there's ever going to be less movies coming out of the big studios. They can't afford not to have it. So many different things depend on it, right? All the ancillary stuff. You think they're selling more Barbies right now?
I guarantee you they're selling more Barbies because I'm buying that Casa Moja Doja Ken doll. Like,
do you think at Christmas time the Dream House sales are going to go up? You think maybe?
Yeah, probably.
It's a lot of money.
I think so.
They are gonna start pumping them out again. They will never just go away. It's never going to happen. And the indies will still have to struggle. You know, that's part of the fight. You know, and it's unfortunate. So maybe if nothing else, PSA of the show is go out, watch an independent film this week. You know, go support them. That's one way of doing it.
There'll always be a crowd for the independent.
But how many independent films have gone through the years that we never seen or ever heard of that were really good?
And not even just the idea, though, of independent film, but the idea that the types of films that independent films make used to be the kind of films that studios made. You know what I'm saying? Like Taxi Driver would not be a major studio production today. That would be an independent film. That would be something like that wouldn't be something that Warner Brothers would get behind right now.
Yes,
you know?
correct.
I don't know.
Amy,
do you think any of this means anything for the future?
All of
the idea of like the Oppenheimer, Barbie, Super Mario effect, and the strikes, and I don't know, like my perfect world that I presented, which I don't think is going to happen, but in my perfect world it does. What do you think? Where do we go from here?
I really hope that the strike can help revitalize the Hollywood system, because really for a long time now it's been needed. It's needed to break down and rebuild back up, because it's never been perfect. It probably will never be perfect, but it still needs to be better. So when strikes like this happen, like it really is trying to change things for the better. And I hope people keep paying attention to it. I hope we support the people who make the movies and stay away from the AI. I hope people will make the studios here what we want, whether it's more independent, more superheroes, or just pay your writers, just pay your actors, pay the people who make the art. They love making art. We want to support them when they make their art.
Yeah,
because we connect to that art.
In my perfect world, that's what happens. But I do think I'm more on the side with Rex, where I think that they're just going to take the wrong lessons from this, and we're going to get Polly Pocket movies and Barney movies and Einstein movies and Von Braun movies, and we're just going to be like, you missed the
Barney
point,
movie. The Barney movie, they should make a horror film.
I thought Daniel Kaluuya was making a horror Barney.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's what he said. But it's he said he's doing. I'm pretty sure he said he's doing a Barney movie, but he's putting a very dark twist on it.
So I'm gonna throw this out here, okay? Because I think that there is something that is different this time that we have not seen before, okay? And you bring up the top 3 films, okay? I don't know if there's enough time before the end of the year, but you did not mention, okay, the one movie I think has an outside chance of breaking into that top 3. Okay, and it's significant to me, not because I'm a fan. Believe me, I'm not. And I coach a bunch.
I don't think they're going to count that as a movie, though, Rex.
Why not? Why not? It is a movie. It's releasing in theaters. Why not?
I know exactly where you're going now, bro. The movie
I know
scared,
because I mentioned before.
The movie that scared every movie on that day away.
Yep. So I think, because I'm not a fan, obviously. I was just joking with my daughter's team the other night at practice about how all her songs sound the same, because one of them was playing it on their phone. I'm like, is that the same song? They go, no, Coach Rex, it's not. It's blah, 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 whatever. Is Taylor Swift. And I told the team I'm a fan now, not because of her music. She turned the studio system on its head. And I got to say, if anybody had the power to do it, it was Taylor Swift. And it's nice to see her do that because they shook them. She scared them because she did something that nobody thought that they could do. So what she did was, if you didn't read about it, she went to studios to talk about a film about her Eras tour. And the studios wanted to release the film after the tour was over. So that would be like a while from now, right? She still has to go overseas in Europe and Central America, whatever, and then come back, closes up in the US, right? So down the road. Swift didn't want to do that. She said, a lot of her fans didn't get tickets or whatever, tickets are, really pricey. So she wanted to release the movie so the fans could have the concert experience while the concert was still going on. Studio said no. So Taylor Swift and her father, who used to work, was a VP at Merrill Lynch, picked up their ball and went home. And she financed the film herself. Who can do that? Taylor Swift can. Called up AMC and cut a deal directly with AMC. And the reason I bring this up is somebody, I forget who, brought up the fact that the movie theaters have to rethink their business model. They do. And this may be it. So AMC is distributing the movie. I don't even know what the pre-sale level is at this point, but I think after the first day it was up to 35 million. All she did to advertise it, okay, was she posted like a tweet or something. She posted on social media. She pre-sold $35 million in tickets. That's it. Not a commercial, not a trailer, not nothing. Went directly to the theater, cut the studios out completely. And this movie, okay, with the kind of loyalty Swifties have, could come close. It is an amazing thing because something like this has never happened before. Never. In the history of cinema, this has never happened.
So right now, Rex, pre-sales are at 73 million.
Whoa.
Which is in total pretty much what the Justin Bieber Never Say Never concert movie, which holds the record for top grossing concert film, that is its total. So it's already going to be the number one concert movie of all time.
Is this just U.S.? Because I imagine they haven't pre-sold anything internationally yet.
I don't know. It probably is just U.S., but yes, 73 million. So it's projected to have 100 million for sure in its first weekend.
You tell me. As an old guy, you have a certain impression of this beboppy music, right? And 12-year-old fans. Okay, guess what? Those 12-year-old fans, they're going to overrun the planet, people. Okay, those studio execs, they should be scared. This is the power this woman has. I mean, that's amazing to me. All she did was tweet it. Everybody, of course, picked it up. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, what'd you say the number was? 70 what?
73 million in pre-sales.
Oh my God.
That's ridiculous.
Right?
And then, but here's something. I know some Swifties in my life, right? And a lot of them were very excited. But then, like Taylor Swift has encouraged everybody, treat it like a concert. Jump up and down, dance, sing along. Now imagine you're that dude trying to watch Oppenheimer in the next theater. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this could, I don't know, like Taylor Swift, obviously not every musical artist can have the impact that she's having right now. Right. But will you see more of these kind of events? And because they've tried to do this kind of stuff, they like to have the Fathom events where they replay old movies. I love going to see those. They have the events where you come and you can actually see the concert stream. Like this isn't something new, right? But Taylor's got that power, and it just goes to show you the power of a name like Christopher Nolan, Barbie, or Taylor Swift.
Right, but it's not even that. I understand what you're saying. I agree, but what Taylor Swift did was she showed other movie makers the path. Okay, no, most people cannot self-finance, right? But these two things relate because we're talking about indie films and that type of thing, right? So there are three factors that I believe Taylor Swift unlocked. We've talked about it for months, the struggles of movie theaters and how they have to change their business model. They need to find something new. Okay, I didn't have the answer, but I made the comparison to going to a baseball game, right? You got to give me something. All right. You have to have something that I need to go to. that's the market you need to capture. So we know that they're struggling and they will continue to struggle. Then we've talked about the indie filmmakers, how they're still in that same position, right? Well, now all of a sudden Taylor Swift showed everyone. Not everybody has a muscle, but the theaters and the indie filmmakers, she showed them. You don't need the studios. Indie filmmakers probably already made the film. AMC needs something where they have more control. They need something that not every other movie chain is going to get and dictated by the studio how it's going to go, right? Okay, we're only going to keep it in for 3 weeks and then we're pulling it. Okay, no, well, why? Why are you pulling it after 3 weeks? Oh, well, we're gonna go straight to streaming. What? Okay, so the movie theaters have very little leverage, right? They're making so little money off ticket sales. Most of that's going back to the studio. So they're trying to jack you on the popcorn, the candy, the soda, whatever else. So they need a new business model because this one's dying. Maybe this is it. All of a sudden, you support these indie films. Okay, you have special indie screenings. They're only at your chain of movie theaters. Okay, you help promote those. Maybe it gets big, maybe it doesn't. What do you got to lose at this point? Right now, you're going to lose the studios no matter what. You've lost a segment of the movie-going audience forever. Okay, the way things are structured now, you're never getting them back. Never. IMAX will only take you so far, but we see the competition for IMAX screens. So everybody's trying to make a movie with IMAX. So is it secret every theater now becomes an IMAX theater? There are no maybe, but man, that front end investment in converting all those theaters, that's a lot of money. So to me, Taylor Swift, she showed it. She shook it up. She's changed it.
She shook it up. Oh my God.
Shook it up. She shook it up. And I guarantee you that the studio heads are sitting there worried about it right now.
What's up, Bueller?
Travis! I'm telling you, man, they are scared. They're going, oh my God, somebody realized they may not need us. Now what? Yeah, now what?
All right. Well, what a great conversation of us trying to figure out the movie industry yet again. Amy, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Rex. Thank you out there in the chat for joining us. Rex, Amy, what y'all got coming up?
All right. So no art show tonight. We're taking a break. So Nick will be back next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time on the EXP. We'll be back on Monday with Robbie. Hopefully John will be here. And, of course, Wednesday, we'll be back at and both shows are 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry. Wednesday is 7 p.m. Eastern. And doing our normal thing. It's always fun with Robbie there. Trade paper, Dad, that's a great question, by the way. Yeah, what about you, bud? You've got...
we're in the midst of Horror Fest. That's
right?
What's going on. Last night, I was on Blood Splatter Chatter. We talked about Brian De Palma's sisters. That was an interesting conversation. I'll be on Dylan's Horror Show tomorrow to talk about Prey, which I've never seen. Kidder? Yeah, that's Margot Kidder in that film.
Oh, no kidding.
1972, pre-Black Christmas, pre-Superman Margot Kidder. And then we got Prey tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show. I've never seen that. I'm going to watch it tonight. And then Monday night.
I like this one.
Monday night on PCP, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I'm so excited for that. So we're in the midst of Horror Fest. That's what we're doing, Rex.
All right. Don't forget to vote for Robbie. Best hair.
Yes, please vote for me at the cbcawards.org for best hair, best channel, best review, best ongoing series, best collaboration, all that stuff. Anyway, thank you all so much. Yep, best hair in particular. All right, stay